Alright peoples, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you what happened in my Ghastly Games tournament. Before we get into this, please make sure to hit like and subscribe and enjoy the video. Okay, so if you don't know, a couple weeks ago, I had a tournament called Ghastly Games. So yeah, I'm just gonna be going over it using replay mode. If you want to actually see me like spectating it live, you can watch the live stream back. It's on the channel. But yeah, now I'm going to be going into replay mode, basically going over a summary of it. So let's get right into this. Okay, so basically this was a tournament where we had a bunch of teams of 2 competing for a shoutout. It was basically for fun though, because most of the teams didn't have channels. But yeah, basically, they went ahead and they did 2 rounds of Sky Wars, 2 rounds of Treasure Wars, and 2 rounds of survival games. If you got first place, you got 3 points, second place got 2 points, and third place got 1 point. Whoever had the most points by the end wins. If there is a tie, we go to a death run tiebreaker. So let's see the teams. Over here, we have Mahan, and this is Planet Premium. Over here we have Pippo and Fiery. Over here we have Big Mac and Egg in Orbit. Over here we have T-Man and Spyro. And over here we have Nexite and Josh. So those were all the teams. Now this is round 1 of Sky Wars. Okay, so putting this into super speed here, everyone goes ahead and loots their island. And right off the bat here, red team, Nexite, and Josh start going to middle. They will basically dominate middle for the rest of this round. You can see orange team comes here to fight them. Now there is a huge fight over here between red team, orange team, and yellow team. And slowly, red team took out the other teams as they came to middle. They did not leave middle, and you can see they hit off Mahan there. So yeah, Nexite and Shark were doing incredibly well. Shark Josh. And now they eventually go to fight yellow team, being Fiery and Pippo. Orange team is also here. And they have this huge fight that ends in Spyro losing. And eventually, Fiery losing. Eventually here, Fiery starts to run away, but he goes back in and try to help his teammate, and he dies. Bringing us to the final 3 here. And here they are in the final fight. It was a pretty close match, but Shark does pull it off. Now in Game 2, Nexite and Josh are in the lead with 3 points. Game starts out as normal, people looting their islands. This game goes a little bit differently, however. In Orange Team, being Nexite and Josh, cannot keep control of middle. In an incredible fight, Spyro takes down Josh. That leaves one of the orange team members to remain. That T-Man will get rid of Nexite and Josh. And Nexite does fall, meaning that Josh and Nexite's lead has fallen a little. The rest of this game, red team, which is kind of funny that the same color keeps winning. But Spyro and T-Man keep control of middle. Okay, basically the same strategy that Nexite and Josh did in the last game. In the meantime, Mahan was building this trap here. However, when red team comes to get him, he just falls in the void. And that gives the win to T-Man and Spyro. Next up was Treasure Wars. The final 5 people in this round ended up being Egg in Orbit, Big Mac, Pippo, Shark, and Nexite. Nexite and Josh come in to get red team's treasure. They do take out Nexite, however, Josh is able to defend off both of them to eventually break in and destroy their treasure. He destroys red's treasure, and then gets Egg in Orbit off. This leaves Big Mac alone. And at this point, Pippo was also taken out by Nexite. This left Shark and Nexite to fight Big Mac. Eventually, Big Mac was killed by Josh, meaning Nexite and Josh had won another round. In the meantime, other teams had started to gain the lead just by getting 2nd or 3rd place. The next Treasure Wars went basically the same. except one team had given up. Mahan and Premium Planet were next to Grey Team, being Josh and Nexite. Sadly, even though they attempted to make peace, Grey Team did still go after them and destroy them. This team had a final four of Fiery, Pippo, Nexite, and Josh. Grey Team's treasure was destroyed, but Aqua Team's was not, so Fiery and Pippo had the advantage. The fight ended in Pippo dying and Josh dying permanently. Fiery died too shortly after. Pippo and Fiery then respawned and had to regroup and eventually go back after Nexite. In the final fight, Pippo did end up losing to Nexite, however Fiery came in and took the kill and won it for their team. So last up we had survival games. Fiery did the math and sadly found out that the only way that they could beat Nexite and Shark was if they got first place twice and Shark and Josh did not get any place higher than third. If Shark and Josh got second place both times, they would tie, and we would have to go to Death Run. But if Pippo and Fiery could pull off the win and get Josh and Nexite in third place or below, they would win. Sadly, no other teams could at the current time beat Nexite and Josh or Pippo and Fiery, so the other teams were basically competing for third place. Pippo and Fiery went at them early on in the game, and in doing so, Nexite and Josh were taken out. This round ended in a deathmatch between Mahan and Premium Planet versus Fiery and Pippo. Mahan would be killed around 20 seconds into the match, and Premium Planet would be killed shortly after. At this point, Fiery and Pippo were tied with Nexite and Josh. In order for one of them to secure the win, they needed to win the final game. The final game mode. 2 teams in a tie, the rest of the teams trying to get a higher place. Let's see what happens. Because some players had to leave, we did have to merge a team, so Egg and Orbit teamed up with T-Man for the final game, each competing for points for their own teams. They would eventually go after Premium Planet right off the beginning, and Premium Planet would be out. Shortly after, Egg and Orbit and T-Man would be attacked by Red Team, and Egg and Orbit would lose, and T-Man would be shortly after. This brings us to a deathmatch. Of course, this deathmatch was between the final 2 teams. Red Team being Nexite and Josh, and Yellow Team being between Pippo and Fiery. Only one team could win. Only one team could break this tie. Let's see what happens. Right off the bat, Nexite and Josh both go after Fiery. Fiery tries to fend them off, but he knows he's outmatched. Pippo comes in and gets Josh low health, ends up taking out Josh. Fiery tries to fight Nexite, but is taken out. It is between Pippo and Nexite. Nexite has 5 hearts, Pippo has 4. Pippo has 5, he regenerates. Frame by frame. We see Nexite gets to 6 hearts. They go in. Pippo gets a hit and gets Nexite down to 3 hearts. Pippo gets hit and goes down to 2 hearts. Nexite has 3 hearts, Pippo has 2 hearts. And in a very close match, Nexite loses and Pippo pulls off the win for Fiery and him. This was a very close match, and I have to say that this tournament was incredible, and I had a blast hosting it. Again, if you do want to watch the full thing, the link will be in the description. Also, I did say that I would shout out the winners, so Fiery's channel will be linked in the description. He'll be making content on there soon, he says. And Pippo wanted me to shout out his friend Day, who he is in some of his videos, so that link will also be in the description. If you're wondering if I will do this tournament again, the answer is yes. But it won't be for a little while. But make sure you're subscribed with notifications so you do not miss the next tournament of Ghastly Games.